Hello everybody, it's Vaughan here from Ballroom Mastery. How are you? I've been great, thank you. Recovering well. Thank you for everyone who's been commenting, liking, and sharing on this page recently. It's wonderful to have you here. And as you know, each week I like to bring some Facebook Lives to you with some encouraging messages, some inspirational ideas, and some new ways of thinking to help you change the results that you get, not only on the dance floor, but in your life, right? Because I always like to say people come into the studio for dance moves, but they leave with life. So here's what I want to talk to you about today. And as I go through this, I love your feedback. I love you commenting. Even if you're watching the replay, tune in there and let me know where you're at with some of these questions. Do you have a team? And what do I mean by this? A lot of people don't really think this through very well, but I found that for us and for you specifically to get to from where you are to where you want to be, you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. But having said that, there's a paradoxical statement that I love. You have to do it by yourself, but you can't do it alone. Now, I want you to have a little think about that. What does it mean? Well, look, might be late at night. You're the last person in the studio. Maybe you're the first person to arrive and the last to leave, which is the hallmark of a very, successful person. Well, you got to do that work by yourself when no one's looking. The champion is in the dark place by themselves, training hard when no one's watching. And then all of a sudden they show up on the floor and everyone's just like, wow, look how gifted and talented they are. But often, like Michael Jordan would be the last person to leave and the first to arrive frequently. David Beckham was the same in soccer. And so you have to be willing to do that work. That's the first part of the equation. You have to be the one to drive yourself. And that's why I make videos about how to set the right goals or how to have an aim that's worth it and how to get pull motivation versus push motivation. Something within you has got to click to why you're doing what you're doing. When that happens, you get into this state of like, yeah, I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to do what's necessary. All right, now if that's the state of mind you're in, then you're doing the first half of the equation right. You're doing the work by yourself and when you're alone. But on the second part of it, you have to have people around you that are supporting you. Now, I've found one of the best ways to eradicate the wrong people and find the right people is you need to know who your detractors are and who your supporters are. Okay, that's one part of building a team, not the whole part. So stay tuned because I want to explain this concept more. It's going to be really worth your time and an investment of time in this. So a detractor is someone who's not necessarily a critic, right? So a detractor is someone who is actually pulling you down. It's like they're a heavy, toxic energy. They're really a sort of way to spot someone like this is that if you share good news with them, they're instantly telling you about why it's bad, or they're pulling the success away from you by telling them a story of their own woes or failures. And they're not really on your side, like whether you share something that's going wrong or share something that's going right, they're doing something to pull the attention away from you, and they're not celebrating with you. Like if you're winning something, they're not there saying, great job. They're there not even saying anything or not pulling you away from that. And that's someone who's a detractor. They're pulling you off your target. Don't confuse that with the person like a good coach who's like, hey, you're letting yourself down on something you're accountable to, pull your socks up. We need to be around people like that. We need to be around people who challenge us to a higher standard of living, right? Who help us be accountable to ourselves when maybe we don't realize we need that. Somebody who is going to push us to the next level and encourage us to be better than what we're doing today. I think that's a good person to have in your life. A way you can quantify someone like that is they're a believer, like they believe in you. But believers will often question your motives. They'll sometimes go, what are you doing? Can you live a better life? A coach does that. That's what I do. I'm like, guys, you can do better. You can challenge yourself to a higher level and you can rise up to it and defeat where you're at. So knowing that part of detractors and supporters is one of the first parts of your team. Who is around you, right? Who are the people in your life that are encouraging you when you feel discouraged? Who are celebrating you when you're fucking it up? Who are high-fiving you when you're failing, and who are also saying, congratulations, I knew you could do it when you're winning, who are helping you when you're actually moving forward correctly as well. That's the first part of a team. The second part is, do you have people in your life like mentors or coaches that can give you these tools I'm talking about, like the mindset, like specifically how to improve your life in ways that maybe you haven't thought of before. You know, they demonstrate by results that they're happy, that they've got their things together, that they're dealing with their problems effectively, right? That's a great hallmark. You need a coach like that. Let me be that for you. If you're interested, Ballroom Mastery Academy is something I'm going to do that with people in. And not only are they going to get dance, but they're going to get a lot of this type of information to help them move forward quicker. But we need someone like that. I have mentors, right? I have coaches that I go to outside of dancing. I've always had them. That can be in book form. It can be in podcast form. It can be in a multitude of ways. But I encourage you to find someone outside of your circle that's going to help you get different skills and different growth mindsets so you can move forward more confidently and more competently. I also believe that as part of your team, you need other experts, right? So you need, and not just good experts, I mean like really, really, really good experts who demonstrate by results they know what they're doing. So you need a wealth team, right? You need a good accountant. Or if you run a business, you definitely need a bookkeeper, but you need someone who's really good. You need a good real estate agent, right? Someone who can help you find property if you want to do that, or someone in stocks who knows what they're doing. Like, you need people who are the best at what they do to help you get to where you want to go. You need good financial planners. So not just anyone. You have to go through a lot. Like, I've just gone through the most crazy circumstances finding a new accountant, a new bookkeeper. It cost a lot of money. We wasted a lot of years trying to get this right. But that was one of our facets, because we needed to get our money right if we're to be able to have the time we need to invest into making courses and programs like this, to be able to share and invest our time into running a dance studio. Because look, to be honest, guys, look, you don't run a dance studio to make your money. You run a dance studio because you love teaching dance. You love the people. You love the community. You build something that matters beyond just the monetary gain. Now, it's got to make a profit, but it doesn't make a profit like if you're running a McDonald's franchise would, right? So the same skill set in another business would make so much money. But we do it because we love it, right? Like, teaching dance is a passion. It's an obsession. It's far more than just a monetary gain. Otherwise, honestly, it's like, it's not really worth it in the monetary sense. Even though people think you make all this money, they've got no idea. Business is a whole different ballgame. So listen, get your wealth team right, because when you set your finances in place, you have options. When you have options, you have a lot more freedom, or feeling of freedom and control in your life, and you feel like you're not as beholden to a job anymore, and so therefore you can dance more, you can travel more, you can open yourself up to more experiences. So get your money right. Get people around you that know what they're doing with money if you don't have that skill, because you need to learn it. Get someone in the health space that can help you out. Get a really good personal trainer, or a nutritionist, or a naturopath, or somebody who can point you in the right direction, because you and I, we don't know everything that we need to know. And it's worse if we don't know, right? So we've got to find people who we can meet and say they can point us in the right direction and build our health up, who can make our wealth better, and can also then point us in the right direction with our mindset, what we're doing wrong, what we need to fix, and create strategies around that. Of course, when it comes to dancing, you want a good coach. Now, I don't know your coach. I don't know how you learn. I don't know where you learn. You might love your coach. I'm not going to slag on anyone's coach in particular, but do they know what they're doing? Really? Are they technically trained? Do they actually know their technique? I have worked with top professionals in London who would come up to me and say, Vaughan, what's a reverse corte? It's like one of the basic technique figures in the waltz. I'm like, he called it a court. What's a reverse court? I'm like, that's not even a figure, dude. I was like, how don't you know that? You're a top dancer. And so just because somebody's a good dancer does not translate into being a good coach. It doesn't even, I'll give you an example. Usain Bolt is the best runner in the world. Who coaches him? You wouldn't even know him or her, right? You don't know his team. Tiger Woods, one of the best golfers ever. So who's his coach? It's like, well, his dad was for years and got him up to the top level. So a lot of the top coaches are not necessarily the top dancers themselves. And you have to remember that, because teaching is a different skill set to being able to do the actual action. And this happens a lot in many, many fields. You'll find that there are people like I'm going to say myself, I am a good teacher. I love to break concepts down and be able to simplify them and think them through, and to do my best to put them in a framework so you can teach, you can actually do them yourself and teach them to other people simply. I love doing that. So I don't think I'm the best dancer in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but I love dancing and I love sharing it. I love the challenge of becoming better. I love that how far can I take myself physically and mentally within the scope of dancing to go forward. And, I tested that thesis and it turns out you can go really, really far if you put yourself into the grinder and do it. But you won't do it alone. So on my journey, I had, one coach. I stuck to that coach, Penny. She was amazing. I stuck to her till we outgrew her and went over to London, where we found another Latin coach, another ballroom coach as a pair, and we stuck with that coach. You don't go around playing the game like everyone does in the politics of dance and have lessons with the adjudicating coaches because it'll think it'll get you further ahead. Be loyal, be faithful to a coach who is good and you resonate with, and do everything they say. Do it all the time and watch what it does for your dancing. Find your supporters around you who believe in you, who will help you, and you help them, by the way. It's a two-way street. And then create your team externally that'll help your life, because you'll find that will infuse and come straight into your dancing as well. You'll feel better about your life when your finances are more on track, when you've cleared your debt and you're debt-free, and you've got a wealth plan in place that you can execute that will get you to where you want to go, and you include dancing in that. On a side note, one of the things I really get I hate hearing is people saying, I can't dance because I have no money. I can't buy a $9 program you sell because I've got no money. It's oh my God, you can fix that problem so easily, but you don't know what you don't know. Go and find someone who does, just like you do with dancing. You don't teach yourself to dance. You find someone who knows what they're doing, and they teach you. Do that for the problems in your life. You will have a very fulfilled and holistic and amazing example of a life for people who are watching you. And you know what? You never know who you will inspire. And I think that's why we're here. I think fundamentally, beyond just the selfishness of learning dancing for our own gratification, that it matriculates into something much bigger than just dancing. I think fundamentally it can be not only a thing that changes your life, but it can be a force for good in other people's lives if you use it the right way. And you never know where it will take you if you only do the work up front and you create the team that will support it. So look, this is Vaughan. I want to thank you for tuning in. Visit our websites. We'd love to give you some free training. We try to give away as much content as we can, and support us as we're going through this as well. The bigger we can get, and the more people that like and share our content, the more good I think and hope we can do as a community. So thanks very much for tuning in. I've loved bringing you this message, and I look forward to mastering the art of dancing with you.